your children, murder, genocide.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Wednesday, January the 10th, 2024. And I want to start off with an apology. I am very sorry, folks. I have had to really do crash course here in show prep. As you're aware, I have a real life job, and that real life job is working outside. And whenever we get pretty bad weather, such as we've gotten this week in the Midwest, I have a really rough day at work. And on Wednesdays, I have 2 hours to get home, first drive home, and then transition from work brain to home brain. And on Wednesdays, that's transitioning from work brain to show brain. And that took a little longer than expected today. So I've tried right up until I went live to gather all of the things we will be talking about. I may have to readjust one of the things on our plate today that's in the title, but we're going to try not to. One of the things that I did notice throughout the day, I happened to peruse some of the internet while eating lunch, and I noticed that our good friend... So first off, I want to say hello to everyone out there. Oh, I don't even have my Rumble chat up. Hang on. If you're out there on Rumble, my apologies. I'm bringing up the chat now. Okay, I can see y'all now. Thank you for stopping by. Nobody's saying hi yet. If you say hello, normally I have some whiskey on the ready to toast you with for saying hello in my chat. Today, I do not have the whiskey because I am participating in Dry January. And unlike people like Nick Ricada, who seem to think that only pertains to live streaming, no, I am actually going dry for the month of January. So, got some water here in my bottle. Gonna be drinking water when I need to. No whiskey today, but I will say hello to everybody in the chat as you come in and give you a shout out, just like I'm going to do here. Okay, that didn't work. Like I said, bear with me. I'm trying here. To Great Liquor, who says, "Hey, Mild. Hey, how's it going? Good seeing you. Welcome to the channel." Or welcome to the show today. Good seeing you there. Cheers. All right. I did notice Hunter Biden showed up as the House Oversight Committee was discussing whether or not Hunter Biden had committed a crime by ignoring their subpoena. And there were a few moments of note throughout that. We're going to play a few of them for you. I really wanted to... Well, let me see if I can find that third link here. Because I really want to play that one first. Because that one was... And of course, every time you try to do something live, hoping it won't take long... You have to add extra things. Okay. Okay, this is it. Okay, here we go. So this is the chairman calling... Okay, so here's what happened. So they had this oversight committee hearing to discuss whether or not Hunter Biden committed a crime by ignoring the subpoena, and whether or not they were going to hold him in contempt of Congress. Hunter Biden shows up and sits in the audience. And it's essentially a stunt, right? He's flexing on the Republicans who called him there. So let's bring up a few things. Okay, so he sat there for a few of the congressman's words about this. He sat through it. But something interesting happened when Marjorie Taylor Greene was called on to speak. And let's see what happened.
Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Whoa!
Hunter and his lawyers and, of course, a bunch of media storm out
Wow, that's too
of the committee hearing room.
I think it's clear and obvious for everyone watching this hearing today that Hunter Biden is terrified of strong conservative Republican women because he can't even face my words as I was about to speak to him. What a coward. And this is also a coward that sat right here in front of Mickey Babbitt, Ashley Babbitt's mother, who was murdered on January 6th by Michael Byrd, the Capitol Police officer. And you want to talk about a committee, a political sham? I'll totally disagree with you, Ms. Mace. That January 6th committee was not bipartisan.
Sorry, we got this on 1.5 speed.
To go after President Trump, go after Republicans, go after anyone that believes in free and fair elections, people that believe the Department of Justice should be fair and balanced, not a political weaponized department of the federal government that is targeting President Trump, his supporters, people that walked in the Capitol on January 6th, and now people that stood outside the Capitol. There's been no justice for Ashley Babbitt's family. Michael Byrd has never been charged with anything. He was let off, and he was given a promotion and
going deep on the J6.
And Hunter Biden just walked out. That is an example of not following the law. Hunter Biden thinks he's above the law. Don Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka, Trump family members had to come in to Democrat subpoenas and be questioned by Democrats for over 8 hours, each of them. Hunter Biden runs away. Hunter Biden did not come when we subpoenaed him. He did not follow the law. And then one of our colleagues helped him evade his subpoena by going and reserving a press conference for him on his behalf, helped him evade the subpoena, helped Hunter Biden break the law. Let's talk about his own father's words. President Joe Biden said in October 2021 that individuals who defy subpoenas from the January 6th House Select Committee should be prosecuted. And the Justice Department indicted Steve Bannon for doing so in November 2021. Hunter Biden's father, the President of the United States, said that he should be prosecuted. Anyone that defies a subpoena should be prosecuted. Hunter Biden didn't show up for his subpoena. Hunter Biden showed up today to make a clown show of himself, to show that he is nothing but someone that will not obey the law, that wants to show up when he wants to, and sits here with a smug look on his face and runs away when it's my turn to talk. Not only is he a criminal, but he is a coward. Nothing but a coward. Let's talk about voting for things. So,
Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you happen to see this, I just want to say you should take that as the best compliment that anyone in the Biden family could possibly give you.
Members on this committee that are on record on their own Twitter accounts talking about people blowing off subpoenas on the January 6th committee that states the rule of law is stirring all
and this
over
whole thing
America.
was like 2.5 hours of the Democrats
right
whining
here, I'll enter this for the record.
that Republicans blew off J6
Steve
committee
Bannon has been convicted of acting in contempt of Congress. My argument with Rep. Gates is now settled. If subpoenaed, you show up and assert any privilege you think applies to specific questions, but you can't blow off the proceeding. He blew it off. Walking in today is too late. We have to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress because he's not above the law, and neither is the president.
Now, think about that too late for a moment.
In this committee,
I'm going to go ahead and bring down MTG for a second. Think about that too late, because I really want to focus on this too late part. So, if you watched my show about a month ago when we covered this subpoena and Hunter Biden not showing up for the subpoena, One of the things he said was, well, the chairman invited me to do it publicly or privately. Okay, well, so here's the tea about that, right? Yes, he invited you to do it publicly or privately. And when you did not respond to his invitation, Congress got together and issued a subpoena to do it privately. Like, your time to accept the invitation to come do it publicly, your time to have your lawyers communicate with Congress to do it publicly, ended when Congress decided to issue a subpoena. When Congress had to use procedure to force you to answer questions about your business relationships with your father. So this idea, and you're going to hear other clips here of Democrats talking about, well, he's here now, and he's been offering to do it in front of the chamber. No. And while I personally, I don't like the behind closed doors shit, that is how congressional investigations work. You do the shit behind closed doors so that you give the person you're targeting a chance to turn over any evidence that they've not previously disclosed, and then you bring it publicly. Because if you do it publicly, then you whip out something like Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to whip out in Congress today. And again, I'm not going to play that video, but she showed certain images of Hunter Biden in various states of undress, and then later in the hearing, when she tried to enter into the record some of Hunter Biden's bank records, there was an outrage on the Oversight Committee hearing floor that she might be trying to introduce more pornographic materials into the record. And so, more disingenuous gamesmanship on behalf of the Democrats. Anyway, so I'm going to bring this up here. Let me move this over. Okay. Okay, here, actually, before I do that, let me preface it here and say that we are about to hear from Representative Shontel Brown of Ohio. Folks, if you're in Ohio, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Let's listen to this 3 minutes of Trump derangement syndrome here.
Recognize Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am not a lawyer, and nor do I try to pretend to play one on TV. But it is plain for all of us to see we are here on behalf of one man, the self-proclaimed dictator on day one, the twice impeached, 4 times indicted.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Insurrection initiator and supporter, election denier, convicted fraudster, and maniacal manipulator from Mar-a-Lago.
From Mar-a-Lago.
Lost badly. We are here because my
Lost
colleagues
badly.
on the other side
That was less
of the
than 1%
aisle
of the
have
vote,
no
lady.
positive agenda to run on. They have not accomplished one thing in their year in the majority to improve the lives of the people around this country.
Okay.
We are not here to hold the president in contempt of Congress. We are not.
Okay, hang on. Nothing. Okay. So can you name one year in which Congress has done things to improve the state of being for the majority of Americans? It's been a while. It has been a while.
Even here to hold a member of President Biden's administration in contempt of Congress. For some reason, the majority has gathered us here to hold the president's son, his son, who I will remind all of us is not and has not ever been a government official.
Okay, here we go. Here's this tired ass point again, and let me just reiterate my response and the common sense response anyone has to this line. Yeah, but his dad was involved in his business dealings. Like the whole point of him being subpoenaed was to get an idea of his business transactions and whether or not his father is guilty of bribery, so that there may or may not be able to be an impeachment. You see, all this for the past 4 years, we've had all these impeachments and investigations into the Trump family. And yet, no one said, well, Alex Jones isn't a member of the Trump administration. No one said Steve Bannon's not a member of the Trump administration. This idea that, oh, because Hunter Biden's not a member of government, that means he's never been involved financially with any members of the government or any law breaking that might involve any members of the government. No, it's pure fucking deflection, and it's literally the Democrat members of Congress trying to distract you. And look, this whole thing is a big distraction, right? We all know that the neocons in our Congress aren't going to let this go anywhere, right? It's kind of like when they impeached Bill Clinton, then for the next fucking 20 years, well, impeachment's just off the table. It's a political tactic. We can't do that. Even when people tried to impeach Obama, it's like, well, no. You had people try to impeach Bush, people try to impeach Obama, and then no, we're just not going to move forward. It's a political tactic. But Donald Trump, all tactics are off the table. No bad tactics, just bad people, and Donald Trump's one of them, so we need to do what we can. So let's hear more of this distraction here.
In contempt of Congress, despite his willingness to come testify publicly before this committee.
His willingness.
So getting to the truth was never their actual goal. Instead of working together to solve big problems on behalf of the American people, my Republican colleagues continue to pursue a meritless, groundless, baseless investigation into the president's family.
Okay, wait. It's not meritless, groundless, or baseless. His laptop was leaked. His emails were leaked. He's done business, very lucrative business with foreign governments. And it's pretty clear that his father may have been involved. So,
meanwhile, back in my district, during our recess, I was literally dodging bullets at a funeral of a gun violence victim.
Okay, we are on YouTube and Facebook right now. We're streaming live to YouTube and Facebook right now. And I will get banned if I say what I'm thinking, but I know you're probably thinking the same thing. Welcome to Ohio, people. And welcome to the people that obviously she hangs out with. But now she's going to somehow tie this into why we need gun control.
And I never felt so powerless and vulnerable because I know that when I got back here, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle refused to do anything about it. Yet,
I mean, when you got back, the gunshots had already been fired and the person was already dead, right? What do you expect Congress to do? Raise the dead? Unfire a gun?
they continue to make efforts
No, you want gun control.
ban books,
Oh,
rewrite
yeah.
history,
Ban
make
porn,
it harder for people
rewrite
that look
history.
like me to vote, and to make it harder for women to make their
yeah.
own health care decision.
Okay, so ban books, yeah, when they're pornography in the schools, yes, that's what we want to ban. And again, I'm not a Republican, but I'll just address these anyway. Yeah, when there's pornography in the schools, yes, ban it. And by the way, we have an interesting story about that later, so please stay tuned for that. by the way, also in Ohio. So yeah, we have an interesting story about that in Ohio, so stay tuned for that. So ban books, rewrite history. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. Maybe some of the slavery debate that's been going on the last couple weeks. I don't know. Let's see, what else did she say? Oh, let me back up just a touch here.
Their decisions to make their own vote. History. Make it harder for people that look like me to vote.
Make it harder for people that look like you to vote. No, we literally need to make it harder for anyone to vote. Right? The fact that you could just pick up a ballot you found on the street, fill it out, forge someone's name, throw it in a mailbox. And again, that might get me yeeted from YouTube for saying that, but you know, we just want more strict scrutiny over who's voting in our elections, whether they look like you or look like me. I don't care. I want you to be a registered voter in the district that you're voting and vote according to your registration. I don't think that's too much to ask. And for the poll workers to be able to verify that you are the person on the voter rolls. So whether that requires a valid identification, which I'm sure you don't have. I mean, what congresswoman from a major metropolitan area would actually carry identification? It's just so hard to get an ID nowadays. Welcome to Julian Delfici over on Rumble. Good seeing you there. Good seeing you there. Says no one gets any votes. Yeah.
And to make it harder for women to make their own health care decision.
Yeah, when that health care decision is to murder their offspring. There you go.
We see nothing on the other side of the aisle but distraction, diversion, deflection, delusion, divisiveness, and dangerous destruction of our ever so delicate democracy. So with that, I am tired of the political theater. I want to get to work for the people back home in the 11th Congressional District because they, quite frankly, don't care about Hunter Biden.
Okay, so anyone who may be watching this, if you're in Ohio, specifically the Ohio 11th District, but if you're in Ohio, just know one of your congresswomen here thinks that you don't give a damn that Hunter Biden's breaking the law. Don't give a damn that he's working with his father. Don't give a damn whether or not he and his father are targets of bribery, etc. Don't give a damn. So we're gonna play one more little video here from the Hunter Biden Oversight Committee hearing thing here. This is Nancy Mace from South Carolina, and there's an exchange here. Here, well, I'll just bring it up here and let you see it for yourself.
We would have expired. We would have loved that. Do any other members wish to be heard? Chair recognizes Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Comer. First of all, my first question is who bribed Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. So this is before he left. So I want you to...
Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege.
Uh-oh. And of course, we're having internet issues. Come on, YouTube. You can do it. You can do it.
First of all, my first question is who bribed Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls to come up here.
No balls!
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
No balls!
If
The ladies recognize.
if the gentlelady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman. Let's take
Oh,
a
really?
vote and hear-
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. We can hear from him right now. Blah, 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 blah. No. No, he had his fucking chance. He fucked up.
Hunter Biden, what are you afraid of?
Hold on. Order.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Are women allowed to speak in here or no?
Order.
You keep interrupting me.
Women, going to the women card. Marjorie Taylor Greene did the same thing.
That Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail. Our nation is founded on the rule of law.
Come on.
And the premise that the law applies equally to everyone, no matter what your last
Point of order,
name.
Mr. Chairman. Point of
It
order.
doesn't matter who you are.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Biggs over here.
Donald Trump Jr.
Biggs over here.
State your point, Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, my point of order is this. Are we going to continue on with this blatant interruption?
Uh-oh.
This is absurd and inappropriate.
Uh-oh.
I intend to give my statement. I don't intend to have anybody interrupted. I'm not going to interrupt your statements. I think you should have decorum and courtesy and don't act like a bunch of nimrods.
You just interrupted a woman.
And that's 5.
I got permission.
Can we agree?
Mr.
Everyone has
Mr.
5
Chairman,
minutes. Can we agree?
Point of order again. The assertion that I interrupted was
Okay, yeah, Julian, she's about to go into something else. Like, yes, she's one of the only people that we're calling for people to be hauled in to the J6 committee hearing too. So even though she's a Republican from South Carolina, yeah, she's not the brightest bulb in the fucking in the light fixture here.
absolutely false. That's typical of the gentleman who spoke it. I got permission to speak from the chairman. I spoke. I was interrupted yet again by the gentleman who doesn't choose to go through the chair and follow proper order. I encourage us, I think if we're going to have any respect at all, we need to have proper decorum.
Well
You'll
said. Well said.
I'd like to finish.
The rules are everyone's going to be recognized for 5 minutes. Anyone that wants to be recognized will be recognized for 5 minutes. Ms. Mace has 4 minutes and 13 seconds left. Chair recognizes Ms. Mace.
It does not matter who you are, where you come from, or who your father is, or your last name. Yes, I'm looking at you, Hunter Biden, as I'm speaking to you. You are not above the law at all. The facts in this case are crystal clear. This committee used and issued a lawful subpoena to Hunter Biden, a critical witness in this committee's investigation into Biden family corruption. Hunter Biden and his lawyers did not claim privilege of any kind because clearly he has none. They didn't contest the legitimacy of our reasons for issuing this subpoena, no reasons, because they clearly are legitimate. And yet he refused to comply. Trump's family members, Don Trump Jr., he did not defy a congressional subpoena. He showed up multiple times for multiple depositions for several hours. In doing so, Hunter Biden broke the law.
Was Don Jr. part of the administration?
You showed up on the Hill, on the Senate side, the
I
day
genuinely
of that
fucking didn't pay
congressional
that much
subpoena
attention.
to defy it and spit in the face of this committee. That's what you did. The question the American people are asking us is, what is Hunter Biden so afraid of? Why can't you show up for a congressional deposition? You're here for a political stunt. This is just a PR stunt to you. This is just a game that you are playing with the American people. You're playing with the truth. Hunter Biden wasn't afraid to sell access to Joe Biden to the highest bidder when he was in elected office. He wasn't afraid to trade on the Biden brand, peddle influence, and share those ill-gotten gains with members of his family, including Joe Biden. He wasn't afraid to compromise the integrity of the presidency and vice presidency by involving Joe Biden in shady business deals with our foreign adversaries. But Hunter Biden, you were too afraid to show up for a deposition, and you still can't today. I believe that Hunter Biden should be held completely in contempt. I think he should be hauled off to jail right now, because it wasn't long ago, too, my friends on the other side of the aisle, that you also believed in the power of a congressional subpoena. Not long ago at all. You believed in holding those who refuse to comply with a congressional subpoena accountable. And I stood with each and every one of you. I am the only member in this room today who has held a member of my own party in contempt of Congress for not showing up for a subpoena. And I see nothing but complete hypocrisy on the other side of the aisle. The ranking
At
member
least
of
she
this
can make
committee
this
even
claim
so
about
eloquently put
Democrats,
it.
right?
The lesson is, please tell your children out there in America, if you get a subpoena to go before Congress, go. You have a legal responsibility to do so. So the hypocrisy
I mean,
is
yeah,
centered.
don't
What are we
get
to
yourself
tell our
arrested,
children
but
today?
Congress
There's nothing
can
the other
kiss my
side can
ass.
say with a straight face. As the only member of this committee to vote to hold a member of contempt of my own party, let me be clear, this should not be a partisan issue. If Congress issues a subpoena, you show up, period. This is not a responsibility we take lightly. It brings no joy
I am
for us to
gonna
do this,
kick
but the
this up
president's
to
son broke the
1.5
law
speed
and
here.
must be held accountable in the same way anybody else would. I urge
Sorry.
my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to do
I know
so.
it's
And
not
my
popular,
last message
but-
to you, Hunter Biden, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And
Play
the gentleman
stupid
yield for a
games, win
question?
stupid
Will the gentleman yield?
prizes.
Will my friend yield from South Carolina?
Sure.
I do want to commend the gentlelady who was the only Republican
Oh,
who stood
here
up
we go.
And voted to
This
hold in contempt
motherfucker.
the Republican members of the House who blatantly and categorically refused to comply with subpoenas that came from the bipartisan January 6th committee. I would like to ask my friend, Ms. Mace from South Carolina, whether she's aware of all the case law which says that the committee has to engage in good faith interaction with the witnesses they've called and they're supposed to arrive at a solution. And what do you think about the fact that the chairman on multiple occasions gave this witness
Raskin
the
is such a
opportunity to come
fucking
before the full
douche,
committee,
man.
and he agreed to that?
We issued a congressional subpoena, and I know with your constitutional law background, you know exactly what that means, and he should have showed up. And because of your vote, and because of your statements, you should be voting to hold this man in contempt of Congress today, right now, if you're going to be consistent on your own policies and your own words.
Gentlelady's time's expired. Chair recognizes Mr. Moskowitz for 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see you after a long break. So I'm listening to the gentlelady from South Carolina about the witness being afraid to come in front of the committee.
Julian, here's part of the problem with that, right? Is Congress doesn't arrest people. Like, you're not going to see Marjorie Taylor Greene kicking down people's doors, right? Congress has to submit their contempt findings to the DOJ. And the DOJ essentially is supposed to send the FBI or, issue an arrest warrant. So, yeah, Congress doesn't necessarily arrest, but
He doesn't seem to be too afraid. In fact, for some reason, the chairman, who on multiple occasions invited the witness to come on TV, apparently the chairman wants to pretend like his statements on television or in interviews don't matter, but it didn't happen once, it didn't happen twice, it happened multiple times. The chairman said the witness can choose whether to come to a deposition or...
Okay, but again, Mr. Goldman, or no, that's not Goldman. Goldman's next to him. I forgot who this dude is. But again, that invitation was made months before the subpoena. When Hunter Biden didn't come forward and say, hey, yeah, I want to tell Congress my story, he waited until the subpoena for a behind closed doors hearing to say, oh no, I want to speak now, just not behind closed doors. Well, no, you don't get to set the rules of the chessboard. You don't get to say, well, no, my knight can move forward. You don't get to do that. And you as Democrats don't get to set those rules for him. The subpoena was for what the subpoena was for. You can't then claim, well, he initially invited me to speak publicly, so that's what I want to do now. Well, you had your fucking chance and you blew it.
to a public hearing in front of the committee. The witness accepted the chairman's invitation. It just so happens the witness is here. If the committee wants to hear from the witness and the chairman gave the witness that option, then the only folks that are afraid
No,
to
he
hear
gave
from the
them
witness,
that option
the American
before
people watching,
they had to
are my
go
friends on
to
the
the
other side of the
subpoena
aisle.
power.
I don't know if there's a proper motion, Mr. Chairman, but I'll make a
I'm
motion.
eating
Let's
up
vote.
too much time
Let's take a
with
vote.
this.
Who
Let's
wants
go
to hear
ahead
Hunter?
and let's go ahead and kill this. Okay. One more video I want to bring up about this whole Hunter Biden hearing today is here's him leaving. So when we saw him and all the reporters leave the room. This camera angle here picks up what happened after. And I want you to focus real hard. This is only a 4-second video. I want you to focus real hard what someone in the back is yelling at him.
Quiet and let me make a statement,
What kind
okay?
of crack do you normally smoke, Mr. Biden?
What kind of crack do you normally smoke, Mr. Biden? Oh, shit. Okay. So, speaking of the state of Ohio earlier, I wanted to bring this up. This is from Politico, but it's, it's news. Ohio House overrides DeWine's veto of bill banning gender-affirming care. The state Senate will convene later in January, so it's now gotten through the Ohio House. I don't know what the makeup of the Ohio Senate is, but the Ohio House of Representatives voted Wednesday to override Governor Mike DeWine's veto of a bill targeting gender-affirming care for transgender youths and the participation of transgender girls, so boys, in middle school and high school sports. The override of HB 68, titled Saving Adolescents from Experimentation Act, passed 65 to 28, above the 3/5 threshold to overcome a gubernatorial veto. The vote was along party lines and closely mirrored the original vote to pass. The bill seeks to ban gender-affirming care, including hormone replacement therapy and hormone surgeries in Ohio for patients under 18. It also would prohibit transgenders from participating in middle school and high school sports. The bill now heads to the Ohio Senate, which will convene on January 24th. 3/5 of the state Senate must also vote to override the governor's veto to become law. The Republicans in the legislature argued that the veto was necessary to protect children and ensure women's sports were not adversely affected. Treatment for children is available as mental health counseling, Representative Tracy Richardson, a Republican from Marysville, said. Many Ohio legislators used heated language to advance their points at Wednesday's hearing, with Representative Josh Williams, a Republican from Sylvania and a proponent of the override, comparing gender-affirming care to, quote, genital mutilation. Because it is. Democrats condemn the override, and the bill is an example of government overreach. Ultimately, this is about protecting human life. Letting this bill become law would say that the state knows what's best medically for the child rather than the two people who know the child best. Yeah. And let me just say, this talking point, in my opinion, parental rights. Look, 99% of the time I'm for parental rights, but it's usually these wacko lefties, these mainstream normies, that are the first ones on board with saying, no, parents can be abusive. Let's take the kid away, or let's ignore the parents' wishes. Oh, they're 7-day Adventists. No, snatch their child and get them vaccinated and give them to give them chemotherapy or whatever. It's the same people who have that argument that are like, no, let the kid and his parents decide whether or not we just cut off their genitals. Oh, Julian. Oh, that's great. Bring that up. I try to do some impersonations. I don't always do them well. All right. Skindle urged his colleagues to vote to keep the veto, citing how parents reached out to him to share votes about the transgender medical care saving their children's lives. The vote comes on the heels of DeWine's veto, citing conversations he had with transgender youths. DeWine said that while he had concerns, his veto was about protecting human life and protecting parents' rights to make decisions about their children's well-being. Okay. DeWine followed his veto with a January 5th executive order directing the state's Department of Health and Department of Mental Health and Addiction to implement new rules around gender-affirming care. Among the provisions of the new rules, a 120-day ban on gender-affirming surgeries for young people below the age of 18 and a requirement that an endocrinologist and psychiatrist must prepare a detransition plan approved by a medical ethicist before patients of all ages can receive gender-affirming care. These new rules have prompted criticism from the rainbow advocacy groups and civil rights groups who argue that DeWine's order increases burdens for, quote, life-saving care and beyond, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're done with that one. Okay, let's get into this big story here. From the Gateway Pundit, Ray Epps sentenced, no jail time, 1 year probation, $500 fine, and 100 hours community service. Just in America is dead. Lone insurrectionist skates. And fiery language here from Jim Hoff to Gateway Pundit. J6 operative Ray Epps was sentenced on Tuesday to no jail time. Epps did not have to show up for court today. He called in via Zoom. This was yesterday, by the way. The Biden regime refused to charge Epps with hurling a sign at police when 8 others are rotting in prison today for just touching the sign. Ray Epps steered it toward the police and hurled it at them, and he is free today. Government is broken. Pat McMurray at 100% Fed Up discovered the video months ago. In this damning video, Ray Epps is filmed hoisting the massive Trump sign along with several other Trump supporters. Epps was likely leading the efforts as he led the crowd when they breached not just the first set of barriers, but the second set that day. In the video, you could see Ray Epps near the corner of the sign, and there's obviously his brown jacket that we've seen several times. There he is. There he is pushing it. You can clearly see that that's him pushing the giant sign into police. Here's the video. There's Mr. Epps. There's the cops. But no. He's not a danger. Epps was scheduled to appear at 10 a.m. According to the docket, on January 8th, the hearing was modified to a hybrid hearing, which means defense via Zoom. As reported by Gateway Pundit, Epps was just sued by J6 defendant Eric Clark for conspiracy to violate civil rights in Utah federal court. They had a tip that Ray Epps was going to be served with the lawsuit at the courthouse during his sentencing, which is why, of course, why they did it via Zoom. Process servers were hired by the plaintiff, and our reporters were scheduled to be there to capture the moment Epps was served on video. This was all discussed yesterday in private phone calls. Then, like magic, Ray Epps' fairy godmother changed his public in-person sentencing hearing to a remote telephonic sentencing hearing. What a coincidence. This was approved by Obama-appointed Chief Judge James Boasberg. There's the docket. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Jim Hoft of Gateway Pundit, for your reporting on that. And so let's compare that to this story from Radix Verum. You could find her on YouTube and I think Rumble. She has an amazing channel. She covers amazing stuff. She digs really in deep on some of this stuff. So let's here's a thread. I attended the sentencing for journalist Stephen Horn. This is him. I should probably follow him. I'm going to. There we go. Let's follow Stephen Horn, who was charged with 4 misdemeanors for being a journalist on January 6th. Today's tone was markedly different from the Ray Epps sentencing I attended yesterday, a thread. Judge Timothy Kelly was presiding with U.S. Attorney Sonia Murphy representing the government, and Charles Haskell and Marshall Ellis for Mr. Horn. I had coffee with Stephen early this morning prior to his hearing. We talk about his journalistic endeavors, his documentary and mine. This case has major implications for civil rights, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, etc. The district court is in a bleak, old, stuffy, imposing, and oppressive building that has extremely low-tech TVs and monitors with clocks that aren't even working. On March 2021, an unnamed individual contacted the FBI with information about Mr. Horn, claiming they believed Horn was in the Capitol as a journalist, but said they were not aware of him possessing any, quote, media credentials. Folks, your media credentials is the First Amendment. Don't let any cop tell you different. The government does not get to decide who is and who is not a journalist. Having press credentials does not make you any better than a journalist who does not have them. Having a degree and being part of an organization doesn't matter either. In fact, it's increasingly irrelevant in the social media age. Horn sat for voluntary interviews with the FBI. Horn also immediately contacted law enforcement after J6 to offer to provide a copy of the footage he took in his capacity as a journalist that day. According to U.S. Attorney Ashley Akers, Horn, quote, wasn't a journalist. The proceeding began with Kelly taking up the Rule 29 motion filed by Horn. Judge Kelly had reserved ruling on the motion. Taking up the motion, Kelly said, in deciding Rule 29 motions, the court does not come to their own conclusion and must weigh everything in the light most favorable to the government. Judge Kelly pointed out that the court cannot overrule the jury decision, citing U.S. versus Campbell. Kelly said he sees no reason to reconsider the Rule 29 motion, irrespective of Horn's knowledge of the Capitol and restricted grounds. One of the issues discussed was whether the Capitol should qualify as restricted grounds due to the Capitol being closed because of COVID, rather than because of the VP visit with Secret Service detail. Horn's team claims grounds were closed due to the pandemic. Kelly's claims that this is a jury instruction issue. Kelly claims there is no dispute grounds were closed off, constituted a restricted grounds. Okay, we're going to skip forward in some of this. I mean, it's definitely a sham. Holy crap. Okay, so here we go. Judge Kelly decided to give Horn 12 months probation with limited travel restrictions, a $2,000 fine, 90 hours of community service, and no restitution because he did no damage. So basically, again, we got a $2,000 fine, 12 months probation, and 90 hours of community service for a journalist. But the guy filmed on camera, Ray Epps, on camera saying, go into the Capitol, got a fourth of the fine, the same probation, and 10 more hours community service. And didn't have to attend court in person. Didn't have to go through the rigmarole. Folks, if the previous two stories that we covered here on this show tonight did not convince you that we have a two-tiered justice system, did not convince you that all of a sudden Ray Epps has become a media darling to, quote, own the left or own the right, right? To make right-wingers appear like conspiracy theorists. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. And I don't care what's going on in Congresswoman Brown's district in Cleveland. We care in America about injustice in a two-tiered justice system. You know what else we care about? The gender crazy of the week. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the gender crazy of the week? Before we do, we have, the consultant over on YouTube, Late and Baked. Welcome, friend. Welcome. Good seeing you around. And, this is from Julian Delfici. Sorry, I put it in there wrong. He says it's no longer a justice system, only a legal system. Yeah. Yeah, it's to railroad people. So, okay. So now let's get into the gender crazy of the week. You know, a lot of people like McDonald's. I'm not a big fan of McDonald's. But this person, let's see what this person felt about McDonald's.
I am a muppet, darling. I am a muppet. I'm a trans muppet. Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights, darling. I stand for myself. Trans rights are human rights. Gay is not an insult. Trans rights. Don't you fucking come at me for being gay, bitch. I am trans. I'm proud. Why are you hiding your face? Don't hide your face. Come on, get on
This
camera,
person
bitch.
seems like a
Human
genuine.
rights. Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights.
Pleasant person to hang out with, right?
I'm a proud woman. I'm a proud woman. Don't you come at me.
Really?
You walk away. Do you want this on you? Do you want
You
this
gotta
on
be more careful with the razor on the chin.
Do you want this on you, bitch? Don't, because you know what? I stand for our rights.
Congratulations! We all heard you.
Wow. Wow. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if I'm sitting in McDonald's eating my burger and that walked in. Okay, we got one more. Oh, yeah. There you go. I mean, yeah, I think that's what Julian was implying by when he said legal system, because, yeah, they're using it as a tool to make their things legal, right? I mean, I'm not trying to speak for Julian, but yeah, I think that's the hint. Anyway, we got one more gender crazy of the week. All right, let's bring it up.
Yes, genital preferences are always transphobic. You're welcome.
What?
No, but seriously,
No,
deciding
I'm
that
not
you don't-
welcome. No. My genital preferences aren't your fucking business, right? I mean, your genitals shouldn't be my business in the first place, but then my genital preference should not be your business. And let me just say that I don't care what genitals this person has. Like, my sex life does not include them and will never include them. So, like, no, thank you.
want to be intimate with someone because of the genitals they have is transphobic, particularly like if you think about in this case, this.
Okay, but you weirdos, and again, I say this loosely, you weirdos will get online and say, like, I'd never date a Trump supporter. Well, yeah, well, we didn't offer, for one. And for two, like, again, the comparison to someone's politics versus someone's genitals, I mean, that's a pretty, for reasons to say I won't date you or don't want to be intimate with you, I think, especially if it's a one-night stand, like, I don't give a shit how you voted. I do give a shit what hole I'm sticking things into.
This means that this person is not open to dating trans women, which invalidates their womanhood. Not only that, it makes assumptions about the way that trans people are going to want to use those genitals. The idea that trans people use the body parts that they have in the same way that cis people with those same body parts do is transphobic. Say it with me. Genital preferences are always transphobic. Yes, genital preferences are always transphobic. You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, say it with me. Genital preferences are for people who aren't fucking weirdos wearing, what is that, fucking cocaine vials? Is that your fucking vaccination vial? No, that's testosterone, isn't it? Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Julian. And again, thank you, consultant, for the earlier comments. Okay, let me bring this down. Oh, click the wrong thing there. All right. So yeah, this isn't necessarily gender crazy, but this is gender crazy adjacent. And we're gonna keep on rolling with gender weirdness here.
They go to school, they find out what it means to be
Okay.
They go to school, they find out what it means to be non-binary. Now they're coming back identifying as non.
I'm in a master's program studying child and adolescent counseling,
And guess what age children start to be aware of their identity, including their gender identity?
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You're an adult. You don't talk to kids about their genitals or their gender. You don't do it. Don't.
4. A 4-year-old knows
What's in a 4-year-old's pants is none of your fucking business.
who they are, what gender they are. When I was 4 years old, I was telling my mom that I felt sad and I didn't know why. I can now look back on that and say, I think I was experiencing depression and anxiety, and
I can now look back on that and say, I think, which means you have a best guess. You didn't have a diagnosis. You don't know for sure. You just know you're fucking weird and anxious. You got anxiety. For one, if you have anxiety and depression and those things, like, you shouldn't trust your own diagnosis, period.
had ADHD. I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until last year when I was 29 years old. If someone had come to me when I was a kid and told me, hey, do you experience these different things? Oh, you do? That might mean that you have ADHD. Would you
What's that got to do with kids' genitals?
say, oh, a kid can't know they have ADHD? That's also a part of your identity. God, I wish that I'd gone to school and someone had...
No, that's not part of your identity. That's part of the medical system. And see, again, this is part of the problem with the way these people think. Your identity is medical. Let's put you under the knife, little 4-year-old. No, fuck no, and fuck everyone in Ohio who's trying to push this shit on kids. And not just Ohio, but everywhere else. I just used Ohio because they were the example earlier.
had told me that I had ADHD. Kids are smarter than we realize. We need to give them more credit. They know who they are.
No,
from a
they
young
don't.
age.
No, they
go
don't.
to school, they find out what it means to be non-binary.
Okay, so this is repeating because this was on X. Let me go ahead and bring that down. Wow, folks. Just some crazy. And so that was from Libs of TikTok on Twitter, or on X. We got one more on the from Libs of TikTok here. This is look at this, a person stripping for toddlers. Okay, I'm just gonna stop showing that now. Because quite frankly, I don't know what I could show and not get banned from some of these platforms. I don't know if that's safe for Facebook or not. That was in Margate, England. That was a Pride event in Margate, England. Yeah, margatepride.org.uk is their website. Yeah, let's just have a stripper for children. Okay, so this is from Clown World. Let's give ourselves something to... If I had been there, I'd done a quarterback sack. Yes. And then Julian Delfici says... yeah, children are aware of their penises, don't talk to them about them. And then says, yeah, to a song about sex. Yeah, stripping to a song about sex to toddlers. So this is from Clown World on X. To kind of cleanse the palate here. Check this out.
Hello? I got some fucking Dove men's soap for you, too. Okay. Get some of that men's soap on your body, because you smell like shit, too. And you're a man. I'm not. I'm not. Hello? I got some...
Okay. So, yeah, I think that was unnecessarily cruel, but still pretty funny. Welcome Sanglan86 over there on Rumble. At this point, I'm just glad the kids aren't stripping. Wasn't there a video about a year ago where they were doing like pole dance lessons for youngins? I'm not imagining that, am I? Like, wasn't there a video that went viral about that last year? I don't know. Maybe I am imagining that. Okay, so folks, we're reaching toward the end of the show. I couldn't find another article about this, so we'll have to deal with Fox News, a video from Fox News. I did find a couple of, like, you know, slanted pieces that were speculating, but I guess Christie, oh, here we go. We got Julian Delfici in the chat saying, yeah, another one just came out with a bunch of melaninated females and their offspring learning pole dancing. Oh, yeah, there was the birthday party where they were all twerking and stuff. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so this is from Fox News. We'll see what Fox News has to say. I tried to bring up some different articles about the Christie dropping out, but we'll see what this Fox News one is. Because I guess he said it.
I think the people in Iowa saw here yesterday.
Here we go.
That she's willing to say anything to an audience to try to curry their favor. So she, a day before she's leaving for Iowa, and taking Sununu with her, she mocks Iowa voters just to try to get a laugh out of New Hampshire voters. I mean, that's like just immature. I mean, grow up. You saw all these people here tonight who don't want me out of this race. They want to vote for me. And I suspect a lot of these people here, if I dropped out, wouldn't vote at all.
Okay,
because she's unwilling to take Trump on. And again, yesterday, you asked her the vice president question yesterday. She won't answer it. She gives this bull answer, I never play for second. Like, what's that mean? It's simple yes or no. Would you accept vice president for Trump or wouldn't you? And the reason she won't answer it is because she's afraid of offending Trump supporting people in Iowa. She's afraid of offending independents in New Hampshire.
Okay, but why are you talking about Nikki Haley? Why is this about Nikki Haley? What is Fox News doing with this?
Answer to Paul, who knows better, and he knows that she just won't answer his question.
We're halfway through,
right?
and he's not said anything.
So that's what should be reported. She won't answer. And you know what that means in politics? When you don't answer a question, that means it's because you know the answer, and you don't want to say it out loud. I will tell you right now, if Donald Trump offered her vice president, she would take it in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. And that's why she's not answering the question. Because she wants the wiggle room.
And the fact that you wouldn't is why you're dropping out.
When she doesn't do as well as everyone thinks she'll do here, and when she loses her own home state, which she's going to do. And then what's that campaign going to be? If New Jersey were third, and I went to New Jersey and
look,
lost,
I have enough shit to talk about Nikki Haley, but this is getting
your own
old.
home state.
Sorry, I tried to find an actual article. Look at this.
You guys can play these political science games all you want. My job is to come out and convince voters, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I've said I'll do from the beginning. And I've also said, I also know when I'm not doing well, and I dropped out after the New Hampshire primary 8 years ago because I didn't do as well as I thought I would.
Okay.
I have no interest in doing this if it's not going to lead to success. So that's
he's not saying he's dropping out in that.
Based upon
what the hell? Look, this is Fox News.
What do you need to do here? What kind of finish do you need in New Hampshire to keep going on?
Look, I have to do really well, Paul. I would say I'd have to come in second.
You see the headline?
Or
this is Fox News.
Very close third. I don't think there's any mystery to that. That's what I have to do.
But I've seen several news reports, and that's it. See, okay. Oh, okay. There's an article behind the paywall. Okay, well, that's the problem. I'm sorry. Well, we watched the video. But yeah, I tried to find every news article said that I looked at said he was speculating, or that was the first one I saw that said he officially suspended his campaign. Anyway, like I said, sorry folks, I tried to be better prepared for my show, but I've had kind of a rough day today. So thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for following me down the pathway of Hunter Biden and the Ohio House and all this transgender stuff and Ray Epps and these weird libs of TikTok videos, and definitely going to be better prepared this Saturday. If you could take just a moment, click that thumbs up button below. If you haven't done so, check out the social media accounts down in the description. That's how you can find me on other platforms, and that's how you will know when I have an upcoming show. I'll try to post to some of those when I need to reschedule, or when I have an upcoming show, or when there's anything going on in the online world of the mild world here. So yeah, I have plans on being back here Saturday, 6 p.m. Central, as always. Please join me then. Hop in the chat and say hello to me. And until then, yeah, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. If you do, rub that shit in real good. I'll catch you next time on Mild's Culture Plate. You all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. See you next time. Take care.